Welcome back to the Football Tragics. I'm finally back. I'm your host, Aaron, joined here by Tony and Campo. Mr. Reliable Morty's not here, so how are we doing, lads?
I want to know what you're doing here. Did Chelsea play this morning or something, Aaron? Did they get their first win in how many weeks?
We sure do. Oh, look, mate, I've been a busy man, so unfortunately with all our schedules, it's hard to line up, but obviously you guys are more consistent than me recently. But look, it's almost Christmas time. Matchday 19. We know who's going in top of the table. City, who's bottom of the table. I think Norwich is still bottom of the table. Quickly, is City going to win the league from here? Most times, the team top of the table at Christmas goes on to win the league. I think only 2 years in the past. I know Liverpool was one of those.
Liverpool, both of them. Both times.
Both of them. Okay, there you go.
Liverpool.
So, City's favourites, surely. Campo, we know you give them a lot of praise. Tony, you're pretty confident in City as well now?
Oh, I'd have them in at about $1.05 if I was a betting man. I don't see them losing it from here. They're just hitting their gears and they're going to go on with it. Yeah,
unfortunately for me, I'm going to have to agree with you. I think that they're just too strong. Chelsea and Liverpool, I think, will battle out for second. But, City could run away with it, honestly, the way the form they're in. But we're gonna jump straight into the first game of the round. It's Liverpool versus Leeds there. Oh, I've got to go through all the games. I forget how we do this. Wolves versus Watford, West Ham, Southampton, Tottenham, Palace, Norwich, Arsenal, that'll be a crack at that one. City versus Leicester City, Burnley versus Everton, Villa versus Chelsea, Brighton, Brentford, and Newcastle versus Man United. So, let's get into that first one then. Liverpool versus Leeds. I'm going to kick it off. It's going to be a cricket score. Leeds cannot defend to save themselves right now. They're hit with injuries. I don't know how many of their players are back before this game. Liverpool, I see this being 4-5-1, 4-1 I'll lock in. Campo, I think you probably agree with me here, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'm not naive to Leeds like Morty can be, thinking they could upset Man City. It'll be a cricket score like Man City were. It's going to be a rout. I think it's going to be 6-0.
Does Bielsa any question marks over his future then if they go and get belted after this game, or they're not sitting pretty in the table, or is it just a case of they've got injuries, they've got players out? What do you think, Tony? What do you reckon?
I've always said it's an absolute joke. Bielsa, if you're going to say the likes of Ole, obviously when Lampard was at Chelsea, if they were on borrowed time, I think Bielsa's pretty much out of time. I get he's a legend, but I don't know. I'd rather get fired than be the manager. It takes him down to the championship again and then get fired. So
I think it's a case of everybody says that Bielsa's this world-class manager, and Leeds know that they've got a world-class manager, and they're like, well, if we sack him, who can we possibly get in? There's no name to, live up to that standard. So I think that's what they're kind of worried about, is losing him, and then they've got nobody. But at the end of the day, he's not working.
Get Big Ange on the phone. Get Big Ange on the phone. Get him across from Celtic.
Well, at the end of the day, he's not performing. You got to give you can only put so much blame on the players and things like that. But he needs to recruit better in January defensively. They need to fix things. Otherwise, you're right. He could find himself down in the championship again with them, and that's a slugfest to go back up again. You'd love to see it, Tony. That's for sure. So this game, though, what's your prediction?
I'm going to go 2-0 Liverpool. I don't think it's going to be a rout purely because obviously we don't know exactly what's going to happen with these COVID cases. Who's back? Who's missing? Who's injured? So I'm going to go a conservative 2-0 and back that Liverpool have a few players out. But Leeds are shambles. They're not going to score, so it's going to be quite comfortable.
Yeah, you're spot on about COVID. I don't know who's fit. I don't know what teams have got what players. I know we've got 7 or 8 players out. A couple of them come back negative the last 24 hours, but that could change again in the next couple of days. It's just crazy. So many games happening, and obviously the league was questions over being called off, but it's going ahead. Are you both happy it's going ahead, or do you think there should have been a break? Obviously, we're football fans. We want to see football, but what do you reckon?
I think it should go ahead. Obviously, it's not going to slow down the cases if football goes ahead. Maybe it's a behind closed door kind of thing, but I mean, just restrict the amount of people allowed in the stadium. Make sure they're double vaxxed and let the players play. That's what they're there for. And if numbers aren't going to slow down, well, you might as well have some enjoyment for the fans.
Campo, you would agree?
You're going to have to learn to live with it. It's just one of those things. And play on. Just double vax and you can watch the games.
Yeah, well, Spurs have got a few games in hand, so you'd be keen to get them underway, I suppose, get them played, because we know COVID's affected you guys probably the most out of most teams, really.
They've got one less game in hand now that they're out of the Conference League, but we'll get into it a little bit later.
Well, we're getting into the next game there. It's Wolves versus Watford. Don't know which way to put this game. Tony, I'll let you go first this time. How are you seeing it play out?
You know what? I always back Wolves, and I always say how much I like him. But if I've got to pick between this, I'm a Ranieri fan over how Wolves play. So I'm going to go 2-1 Watford. He's done well since he's been there. They're playing better football, and I just think Wolves, they're struggling to find the back of the net. And Watford, they did it against my boys. They showed that if they get a chance, if they get a sniff, they're going to put it in the back of the net. So I'm going to go 3-1 Watford.
Watford. Tony? Sorry, Campo, which way are you going to agree with Tony here? Or?
I can't go 3-1 Watford after they're one of the most hot and cold teams in the Prem. Wolves, I think, are a bit more consistent, so I'll back them in a 1-0.
All right, I've gone 2-1 Wolves. I think they were right against Chelsea. I think I was listening back to the review, and Morty was a bit strange talking about that game, his opinions, but I'll get into that when we talk a bit about Chelsea. But Wolves were all right. They play well. Watford, like you said, they're hot and cold. You never know what you're going to get with them. I like Ranieri. I think he's a great manager, but Watford's just too inconsistent. So I'd like to see them win this game, but I think Wolves at home might come away with 3 points here. All right, we move into West Ham versus Southampton now. Very tough game to pick, is it? Or is it pretty straightforward, Campo? I'll let you start.
I hate both teams. Based off, West Ham played pretty full strength this morning. So they could have some fatigue factor in that. But regardless, I still think they're too strong for Southampton, and I think they'll win 2-0.
Yeah, I've gone with a 1-0 West Ham. Like you said, I think they're going to be too strong for Southampton. Southampton haven't been amazing this season. They're floating above that relegation zone, so it's tough. And I think West Ham, they're looking good. Yes, they got knocked out by you guys this morning, but they look good. And they're still pushing for that top 6 spot. They want to end the year in those top 6 spots. Tony, how do you think?
What I'm hearing is Campo's gone from West Ham can't perform outside Europe, so they can't perform after a cup. So that means West Ham's getting the win. It's almost wrapped up. I'm going to go 2-0 West Ham. I think Antonio gets back on the score sheet. He's been a bit quiet as of late. And I think this is a perfect team for him to bully that back line and put one in the back of the net. So 2-0.
All right. Campo, Spurs are playing next. Spurs versus Palace. We know what happened last time these two teams met. Vieira tore you to shreds. Conor Gallagher tore you to shreds. And Wild, was that the first game that he played for him when he scored a double or whatever off the bench? So
yeah.
We know what happened last time, but what's happened?
All I know is that's one of our most watched videos. So I'm hoping for a repeat so we can
get
a few more views on there.
That is very true. Campo, you get to start us off then. At home, you've got Conte now in charge. Is it comfortable 3 points, is it?
I was going to say there's no more Nuno at the wheel. It's Conte. He's in. The squad is looking a lot better. Players are actually playing for the manager, playing for the club again. And I just want to see us slap up that bold twat Vieira, something fierce. I want to see a 5-0 rout, but it'll probably be 2-1.
2-1. All right. Well, all this talk about Arsenal being in 4th spot. If you guys win all your games in here, I know you have to win them. You just go into 4th. So you're actually back on track. You're looking all right.
We have to win 2 out of 3.
Okay, well, there you go. I do see you winning this game as well. I think I've gone 2-1. I think it's going to be close. Palace, they play some good football under Vieira. We all know that. Conor Gallagher, shining light right now. But Spurs at home, Conte at the helm, like you said. You've got it pretty switched on in the last few weeks. So I think it's going to continue. Tony, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's only minimal games, but Tottenham are that team that have been rested. So I think that's going to benefit them, especially as it gets later in the game. And I can see him winning this game. I'm going to go 2-1, and I'm going to say it's from the 75th minute onwards they get that winner when they're a bit more fresh.
All right. Well, speaking of Arsenal, just like I mentioned...
Hold on. Are we missing the biggest part here?
What?
Spurs, the first English team to be kicked out of all 3 competitions, at least once of the European competitions. They've set the record. Harry Kane, not sure how many goals he's going to score because he's out of his favourite competition, but I promised Baxter I'd give a mention of how poor they are for getting kicked out. So,
COVID. Damn
what does that make for their season, though? It doesn't, do they care? No, I don't think so. I don't think anybody really cares.
It's a trophy in the end. There's no guarantee that they could get... There's no guarantee they could get back into the Europa League if they drop a few games, and that was an easy look in. So
Carabao Cup is the equivalent to Conference League. No one cares about it. Just
And
it's there.
I think the issue would be here as well is the fact that most of those games, like you're not just traveling to Spain or, France. You're going to I don't know how long Belgium is from England, but you go on a few of these countries that take a bit longer to travel to. So I think it's just eating up time that they could use to recover. So look, they're into the semis of the Carabao, which I think you need to lose no matter what because you got Chelsea. But it's a competition that you probably, like you said, you didn't prioritize. But
it's still a bit embarrassing that it went to the last game to
it's
qualify.
hilarious.
It's pretty embarrassing.
It's hilarious. Let's be real, but I don't think they care too much. I think if Conte wanted to, he could have fixed that and made sure they went through before. But you saw the way he performed. You saw some of the squads that he lined up with the first few weeks. So I don't think it's too big of a loss. But yeah, we'll get back into Arsenal now. They're playing Norwich. It's going to be a trout, surely, the way that Arsenal's playing recently. They're into fourth right now, like I said. Is it a comfortable win, Tony, for Arsenal?
I'm going to say, obviously, the game is being played at Norwich. In the cricket theme, it is summer. I'm going to say Norwich are going to hit for 6, and it's going to be 6-0 Arsenal. I think their youngsters are on form. Even their bit more experienced players are starting to not score goals, but they're starting to fire in the midfield, fire in defence. And we all laughed when they signed White, but he's been brilliant in the back line. Ramsdale's been brilliant. So I'm going to go 6-0 Arsenal. This is my out there pick of the week.
Okay. We did, we have laughed a bit about their transfer business, but it's actually turned out to be really, really smart business. Like Ramsdale's probably the most informed keeper in the league right now. Like Ben White's been pretty solid.
David De Gea.
Yeah, I'll give you that. But Tomiyasu, obviously, we laughed at him as well. He's been brilliant. You can't fault them really. Odegaard's performing. You can't fault them. So yeah, it was funny the way they spent it, but it's helping them into fourth right now, and they're back on track.
This was the game. Right. The reset fixture of this game was the one. If he lost, he was fired. So he's definitely turned it around since he came up against Norwich last time. So fair play to Arteta.
Absolutely. I've gone with a 3-0 Arsenal. I think it's going to be a comfortable result for them. Anything less than a 2-0 win, I think, wouldn't be good enough. A 3 points are 3 points, but they want to kick on here. Aubameyang.
We only won 1-0. Thanks.
Oh, we'll talk about you guys later. Martinelli's going to lead the line for sure. I think he's going to grab a goal or two. Is Aubameyang out of what's going on there? What do you think, Campo? Give us your prediction and the Aubameyang situation.
It makes me laugh that the captain gets a big paycheck, a pay rise, and then can't deliver.
Mm-hmm.
I feel he's going to leave. He has to leave. There are still a lot of clubs that will take him based off what he's done in his career. Maybe. So he'll go anywhere that want him. And I can't sit here and say happily that Arsenal will win, so I'll give it a 1-1 draw.
Jesus Christ. Tony, what's your thoughts on the Aubameyang situation then?
I think he's done. Obviously, I did say it I don't know if it was the last one or one before that. I threw my conspiracy out there. He was trying to get a release so he can go to Barcelona. Obviously, there were heavy links with Barcelona with Cavani. Fabrizio's come out and said that there's been no contact. So I'm going to stick to it. I think Aubameyang ends up at Barcelona by the end of this season.
It's crazy. Whoever Arsenal throw big money at to keep him at the club end up doing the opposite, wanting out. Like Ozil did the same thing as well. So tricky is don't throw big money at a player, I suppose. All right, we're moving to City against Leicester now. I've gone with another 3-0. Man City's, they're too hot right now. They're unstoppable. Leicester, they just played this morning. They were taken to penalties as well, so it doesn't help their cause either. Full strength squad. Brendan Rodgers bottling it again. I think he's just going to get trounced here. Tony, what would you have this one going down as?
Yeah, I saw an interesting stat. Baxter sent it through that Schmeichel's actually made the 4th most saves. And for a team like Leicester, that's quite poor that their backline can't hold up. So I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go 3-0. And I think if they're not careful, this could turn a lot uglier than what it needs to be.
Campo, you're obviously hot on City's praise right now.
I would have said it's more competitive if Leicester didn't play a full-strength team. But you like to see De Bruyne get an extra 4 nights rest. It's going to make all the difference. And I'll say a 2-0. 2-0 comfortable.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to stay on City for a moment here. Ferran Torres, he's agreed fees to go to Barcelona. What exactly went wrong for him there? He started the season really hot. He was into that number 9 role. He scored a hat trick one of those games. He was on fire, and then all of a sudden he found himself out of the squad. Is that Pep roulette? Is it what is that? Does he want to go home and play for in Spain? Tony, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, I think it's a bit of both. Obviously, he was very fortunate that he did get into that squad. It was only because Foden was injured. It wasn't that. I don't want to say he didn't earn that spot because he earned the spot, but Foden was injured, and I think Foden's always been that player that they were going to replace Aguero with. They were going after Kane, which shows they don't really have that much faith in Torres. So it could be a mix of both things. He's fallen out of favour with Pep. He wants to go back home and play there, but I mean, good luck to him. He's a brilliant player. I think that's a massive signing for Barcelona, a team looking to rebuild, and I think he's going to be brilliant under Xavi. So you're not going to keep Barcelona down for very long, and this is the start of that rebuild.
But he wasn't brought in to be a number 9, though, was he? He's brought in to be part of these wingers, but I suppose they just have too many. They've got Sterling, they've got Mahrez. Bernardo Silva, who was on the way out at one point, is now their first name on the team sheet. So is it just a case of other players are performing and Torres couldn't get back in? Campo, what do you reckon?
There's just too many players on the wing. Even Grealish, he spent 100 mil. They're not going to put Ferran Torres over Grealish. But I think 55 mil for Ferran Torres is an absolute steal.
Yeah,
what he can produce, he should be up, I reckon, around the 70, 80.
Well, I did read there's about $10 million worth of add-ons. So it could go up as high as that 70 million mark. They've got that same clause that Martial somehow got in his contract, that if he wins the Ballon d'Or, they get X amount of money. If they win the league, they get X amount of money. If he's in the team of the year and so on. So it could end up being around 70, 75 million. And like we said, they spent 100 million on Grealish. I think this is brilliant business to try and balance the books a little bit. Yeah,
absolutely. They basically doubled their money and what they paid for him. And I don't think it's the biggest loss. I think he's a great player. But like you said, I think he was shine at Barca. And the opportunity, I think Spanish players always want the opportunity to go home. I think it's just a safe route for them. And Barcelona, like you said, they're down and out right now, but they've got Xavi. They're going to rebuild in the next few years now. So that's a good signing for them. And I don't think City will care too much. So, and maybe it helps fund Kane or whoever they want to get. Maybe Aubameyang, who knows. All right, we move into Burnley versus Everton. Probably the least interesting game I really can think of for this week. Sorry, Everton fans or Burnley fans. Campo, what's your score prediction for this one?
We'll go an interesting 2-2 draw.
2-2, okay.
I don't know where this is going to go, but both teams can leak goals, and I'm hoping Cornet can turn up.
Okay, fair. He's been a shining light for them. Do we know Everton news? Is Calvert-Lewin back yet? I haven't really kept up with their news, so I don't really know how they're going. Because if they are, I'll put Everton down for a win. But if not, I've gone for a 0-0 or draw. Like I said, it's probably the least interesting game this week for me anyway. So that's the way I see it. Tony, I can see you're probably Googling right now, so tell us the news and your prediction as well.
Oh, I'm trying to have a quick look here. It looks like he won't be in for this week unless it's a massive shock, but he should be in for next week. So they're saying potentially Boxing Day. If not, it'll be definitely the game after Boxing Day. So he's not too far away, but
this is the game. This is the game.
No, I said if it's not for Boxing Day, he's only 50%. It's definitely the game after that he will return. So I mean, before I even looked at that, I was thinking this is one of those games I'm going to wake up and it's going to be a 0-0 draw. So Burnley know how to bring teams down the shithousery and keep them there. So 0-0, and it wouldn't surprise me. I say it every week, but Chris Wood scores a 95th minute counter-attack and they wrap it up and take that 1-0.
Is it long before Rafa's gone, do we think? Or are they going to give him a bit of time? What do you reckon? He started so hot and then now it's just the opposite, complete cold. Campo, Tony, what do you guys think?
I'll let you go, Campo, first, and then I'll jump in.
I reckon when you have that good of a manager, you have to give him time to get players in that he wants, players out that he wants. You can't just that's their best manager they've ever had.
Well, you look at some of the teams they've had to put out in the park, like against Chelsea. Great performance from them, credit to them. But that was a terrible side they had to name. Bunch of youngsters, like they haven't been. Calvert-Lewin, who was scoring goals for fun last year, has not been playing this year. So that's no fault of Rafa Benitez. Like, give him time to, like you said, put the right team on the park, and he probably does produce like he did in the first few weeks. Tony, you think he should give him more time?
Yeah, I was about to say the exact same thing. Obviously, we saw what happened when he started the season with a fit squad. They were playing good football. Obviously, they've been unlucky. I mean, every other team's had injuries, but Everton doesn't have the depth that a lot of other teams have. So I think it's give him January, maybe give him a couple weeks next year, but let him bring in a few players, build a bit of depth, get players back. And I think they've got a manager they want to hold on to. So I reckon give him a chance.
I think the only problem with Rafa is the fact that their fans hated him before he even came. And that's why they're so quick to be on him. Whereas, like, if it's a manager that, is just neutral, you probably give him more time. But the fact that he was already hated before he came because of his ties with Liverpool doesn't help his case. Quickly, I want to mention Chelsea's looking at signing Luka Dean. That's a big loss for Everton. I think I'd happily take him. I think he's a fantastic player. Do you guys think that move happens, or Campo? I'll start.
Why do you need him?
Well, only really because Chilwell's got a partial ACL injury. Apparently, he's back late January. So, do we need him? Probably not. But I think Alonso. I think it's just getting to the stage where we want a very, very solid backup. But if you're Luka Dean, you don't take that move because
you're not playing football.
Yeah, exactly. So, do we think that move happens? I don't think it really does.
I'm going to throw out there that I think he ends up at Juve. I know Juve inquired about him this morning. So, I mean, if I'm looking at where I'm getting a bit of game time, Juve need a left back. Chelsea don't really need a left back. So, I know where I'm going if I am making that transfer. So,
and what does that mean for Everton? They'd have to replace. Absolutely, they couldn't. Or is.
Well, I mean, if Rafa's happy to let go of him, it means he's got someone else in line. So, put out a bid, get who you want. Maybe there's a youngster he wants to use, but he wouldn't get rid of him if he didn't have that backup.
No, absolutely.
Bring back Leighton Baines.
How old is he?
On his day, what a baller.
Well, we've still got Seamus Coleman playing on the right back, so why not? Wind back the clock. All right, we move into, speaking of Chelsea, we're away at Villa. Before we get into the prediction, I want to speak. Just like Morty tossed and turned, said, Chelsea's performance against Wolves was bad. He doesn't know what's going on at Chelsea. But then later in the pod, he mentions how Liverpool's got this many COVID people out and things like that. We had the exact same issue. We have players out for COVID. So I don't know what he was playing at. Our performances have been very, very lackluster recently. There's no two ways about it. We're scraping results here and there, like this morning against Brentford. We're getting some results, but in the league, our form recently has been terrible. We're starting to get a few players back now. I've got Kovacic back. We've got Kante back, who they're both not 100%, but they're there. The only issues, I think, is the fact that probably most exciting player right now is Timo Werner, and he's out in. He's still got COVID. Sorry. So I think once he gets back, like Lukaku missing, Havertz missing. Once we get a few of them back, maybe we'll start to click again. Do I think we get past Villa? Yes, I think 2-0 win. That's the way I see it. I feel like one of you boys here is going to say the opposite. I feel like one of you, probably Campo, has Villa as a win. So Campo, do you have Villa at a win here, or?
No, I haven't. I'm sitting on the fence.
Of course.
I'm sitting on a 1-1 draw. Just nothing that Chelsea are doing right now is screaming they're going to win this game. And again, Villa look good. I don't know where to go, so I'm just sitting on the fence.
Yeah, understandable. Like you said, Villa do look really good under Steven Gerrard, and that's a bit of a worry because I'd like to play Villa without Steven Gerrard because we would have smashed them this season. But yeah, now he's got them playing some real good football. Tony, are you the one then that was going to pick Villa? I'm not a mind reader, so there it is.
Yeah, I'm going to go 2-1 Villa. I think if there's a game that Gerrard wants to win in the Premier League, it's against United and it's against Chelsea. And I think given the form Chelsea's in, I think this is the game he can steal points from them. I was going to sit on the fence, but Campo did it, so I'm going to go the other way, and I'm going to go Villa 2-1. And it's going to ask questions about Chelsea, and who knows? I think, like we said, they're battling for second now. I think that title race for them's all but over. But yeah, 2-1 Villa, just to be different.
Did you see Mark Schwartz's bold prediction?
Yeah, about Tuchel and Pep both to leave.
Do you ever see Tuchel leaving this season?
Not this season, no way.
Come on, mate. Did you not see his prediction of who's going to replace Pep? He said Rodgers. So, we can throw Schmeichel out. Schwarzer out. He's been hitting ahead a few too many times. So
I'm not sure. I don't really know where he's getting that from. I don't really know why. I know we don't like to stick with managers for too long, but I don't think there's anything that Tuchel's done that can be questioned, really. I suppose maybe if we're to go and finish 5th this year, then potentially, because European football, Champions League football is a must. But I think we're good enough for a top 4. We're good enough we should win the Super Cup. That's one trophy, even though it's it's a minor. We should hopefully, depending on how we go against you guys, Carabao Cup finalists, hopefully. FA Cup, we're still in 5 comps right now. So I don't know really where that's coming from. But like you said, it could happen. Who knows? Schwartz, he's probably doing something there. He knows what he's doing, I suppose, just trying to get clickbait. We love a bit of clickbait ourselves, so who knows? Maybe we'll title this video "Too Sure to Leave Chelsea." But yeah, we'll move forward now into Brighton versus Brentford. Battle of the Bees. Tony, we'll start with you. How's this one going?
Brighton are well and truly in the mud. I think we saw enough from Brentford this morning that I still like the way they play. I still think they can pull results, and I'm going to go 1-0 Brentford. And yeah, Brighton, they haven't won a game now in about 12 weeks, and it's a bit of a worry, but I just don't think they have the mentality at the moment to overcome that, and they're going to have to try and boost their squad in January.
So is Brighton the Southampton of last year? Was it Southampton that went top of the table, and then literally since then they slipped down to back below 10th? So is that the same as Brighton this year? They just peaked way too early?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if Burnley win their catch-up, Brighton's only 7 points clear of the drop, so they're not well and truly safe just yet. So let the funny season begin, the Christmas festive series.
Has a team ever been top and then relegated in the same year?
Maybe Arsenal once upon a time.
I doubt it.
Be brilliant. Have Arsenal actually ever been relegated? I don't know.
I don't think so.
A few clubs have. I don't know if Spurs ever have, actually.
Well, they only just got up here. They haven't been up here for too long.
No, I'm pretty sure if you date it back, I don't know how long. I don't have the stats. I'm pretty sure Spurs might be one of the only teams that haven't been. I think there's 4 or 5 of them. I know United have, Chelsea have. We've both been relegated. But yeah, it's an interesting one. Maybe I have to research that one.
I'd definitely say that a team top after 4 weeks wouldn't have been relegated.
Yeah, no,
I'd be comfortable saying that.
I wouldn't think so. Campo, what's your prediction for this game?
I'll sit on the fence again and go 1-1 draw.
Get off the fence, mate. Make a decision.
I don't like either team. They're both stink.
Well, is that fence big enough for the two of us? Because I've got 1-1 draw written down as well. So I'm sharing the fence with you. All right. Final game of the round. Tony, you want to kick us off? It's Newcastle versus Man United.
Longstaff's gone, right? He's gone. Yeah, I don't have to worry about it.
Hey?
I said Longstaff to score and United to win. Is that the multi of the week?
Well, surely you guys you've been looking better under Ralph now. So, and Newcastle is still down in the mud. So what's your prediction? Talk us through the game.
I think it's not going to be a comfortable game. I think the result will better us than how we play the game. But again, we've had a few extra weeks now under Ralph. Obviously, we're fresh. We didn't play last week. I'm going to go 3-0 United. Again, we're not too sure who's going to line up in our back line. The Varane's still 50-50. So I'm going to go 3-0. And yeah, I think we're going to have too much class. Ronaldo loves a goal. And yeah, we'll go from there.
Well, it was a return fixture that Ronaldo did score on his Old Trafford second debut, I suppose, homecoming. And I think he does it again. I've gone 2-0 win. Ronaldo, probably from the penalty spot. Yeah, easy win, but comfortable. It's comfortable, nothing like crazy. Campo, finish us off. Prediction?
It's Christmas. Newcastle are a free 3 points for everyone at the moment.
Okay, I was about to abuse you then if you said Newcastle.
No. So they're the Christmas present for everyone that played them in Christmas. I'll go 3-1 United.
3-1. Sounds good. Well, this pod, whenever it goes out tonight, whenever, and then we're going to have to follow up straight away with Matchday 20, which is ridiculous. Like Tony said before the pod, it's Matchday 20 starts the same day as Matchday 19 finishes. So there's going to be crazy.
United will finish at 9:30 in the morning, and then I think the game kicks back off at 10 o'clock, match week 20. So it's quick and fast. We'll try and obviously get a review and a preview in at the same time somewhere. In between
Christmas period, the festive period is crazy. There's games fast. Midweek games. We love football though, so we're always going to be bringing you content as much as we can. So we'll see you in our review. Peace.
Peace.